Okay, so welcome to our next edition of Two Nerds in a Truck TLDR, where we go on YouTube to spend more time talking about what we saw and did than it would take to read one of our blog posts in the first place. But hey, I like the name, so we're going to stick with it. So, we do recommend going to check the blog out anyway to further go against the TLDR name. But mostly just because there's a lot of photos and stuff that we can't really fit into video. Anyway, today we're talking about the big autistic playground that is Big Chute Marine Railway. What do you think?
I mean, it's awesome. Is the preview here?
That's the spoilers.
That is the
spoilers. Anyway, so what happened with this one is when we planned our big fall trip, I like to plan field trips. So for each campground we go to, I usually look around to see if there's anything of interest in the area. Usually it's waterfalls or another hike or another park or whatever. And while we were staying at 6 Mile Provincial Park, I found Big Chute Marine Railway, which was a unique attraction. And at first I didn't tell Porter, but I kind of couldn't keep the secret just because he is a train autistic.
Woo, woo.
Yeah, and this was a train attraction that's the only one in North America, and I think one of very few in the world, if that. Anyway, so planning our stay at 6 Mile Provincial Park, we took a trip there, and we're going to tell you all about it. So, it is a 10-minute drive from the campground.
That's probably about right.
Yep. So you pull up. It's a very direct drive too. You're not like driving down little side roads or anything. There is a parking lot across the street from the Big Chute Marine. Is that the owl's back? The owl's back. Oh my God. Sorry. We're going to pause here because this barred owl came and visited us at our campsite probably 10 minutes ago, and then someone talked. Our last video, we mentioned that we're not fancy people, and we've got many reasons why. Well, someone talking very loud and scaring our owl off the first time we've seen one in a campground definitely contributed to that. But yeah, he just flew by again, so he's going to go do that. So we're going to pause here and come back after we get our fill of owl. Okay, so owl has been photographed, and we're not going to bother editing that out because I want evidence that we saw an owl.
We did. Barred owl, yes.
Barred owl, he's super cute. So we will share a photo of that in this video for tax.
Absolutely.
So anyways, where were we? So the parking lot, it's a decent sized parking lot.
Yes.
It's pretty close. It's just across the street from the marina, which is just down from the actual Marine Railway itself.
Yep.
So we got there yesterday, and first thing we saw was this big, very, very old contraption.
Yeah.
You know?
So it looked like the standard train track that went off into the water on side. Actually, real quick, a
It's
tangent.
wide.
What is a marine railway?
Oh,
so
yeah.
This is on the Trent-Severn Waterway?
Trent-Severn Waterway, which is a historic site itself. The whole waterway is.
Right. So there is a dam at this location. And so instead of a traditional lock, this train will drop into the water. You put your boat in there. It'll lift you up a bit and then drop you down to the bottom, or vice versa, of course.
It's exceptionally cool. It's
super
very
cool.
Yeah. I'm not even a train autistic, and that was very cool.
So yeah, the first one, it dropped. It was like a standard train, dropped down into the water, and then it looked like a kind of a cargo car, but it was much more open.
Yeah, so when I saw that, because I saw the train tracks going into the water, and I saw the thing, and I'm like, first, that looks very janky. Like, that looked pretty rickety. So I was kind of surprised because
very old.
Very, very old. Yeah, probably near 100 years, almost 100 years old. And I saw the train tracks, and the train tracks look kind of overgrown. And I'm like, oh, man, we're not going to see it. I guess my first thought, I was so disappointed because I'm like, oh, I was hoping to see this, but it looks like it hasn't been used in a while.
Yeah.
But it wasn't overgrown to the point where this hasn't been used in 50 years. It was overgrown to like, oh, it's probably out of season. Like, I was like, oh, crap, they probably used it like a month ago or something. So I was disappointed. And then I looked ahead and we saw the actual thing. So there are two marine railways to see at the Big Chute Marine Railway.
Yeah, it was kind of fun because I wasn't expecting the next one. So you walk by the visitor building and all of a sudden you see this very large rail system.
Many times bigger.
Yeah,
than the
and I
little,
was
many,
like,
many times bigger.
okay, that's the quote real one, or the current one, modern one.
So we stayed there for a little bit and we walked around, and it's a very nice area. So when you come out of the parking lot and you head right towards the, I guess the area, the attraction area, there's like a day use area, like picnic area, off to the right, and then there's a set of stairs that goes all the way down to the lower waterway. Beautiful views, like beautiful. It's, you can see out over whatever lake that is, and fall colors everywhere, and very steep. The
Yes.
steps were very steep and very short, like the actual the width of it.
The rise to run is not your traditional steps. Yes,
So
watch
if you
your
have,
footing.
yeah, if you have any kind of mobility issues, if you're in a boot, you know, anything like that, I wouldn't go down there. And honestly, it's beautiful views, but it's not really anything to do with the Marine Railway itself. So if you're looking for that, you don't need to go down there. So we investigated all that. We were kind of biding our time, hoping that the railway would go, and nothing crossed while we were there. So we came back to the campsite and tried again today.
Yes. So
which is much more fruitful.
Absolutely. I was kind of wondering, you know, with seeing how large it is, I'm like, well, maybe they only do this for really big boats, and then, you know, maybe it's like almost like cruise kind of things or whatever. But turns out that anybody with a fishing boat or anything can go on this thing.
And so it's really cheap.
It is.
I was really excited. So I called in, because I called the not the tourism line, but the national, like the Fed line for the waterways and whatnot, to ask some questions. And I'm sure I annoyed her because I asked her a ton of questions. But one of them was like, how much does this cost? Because I'm like, that's got to be a fortune, because that is very specialized. I'm like, that's several $100s, I'm sure.
Yep.
And it's $1 a foot, or you can buy an all-day pass for the waterway for as many locks as you want for $2 a foot. And like, we have a 27-foot. Is it 27 foot?
No,
our truck is 27 foot. That's right.
Right. No, our boat is like 18 or 20 feet. I can't remember.
Can you imagine going up and down that thing for $36?
Absolutely. It sounds like a blast.
$36 for a day. So it's like, go to the bottom and then turn right around and like, hey,
let's go back.
I wonder if you could do that, because I mean, they don't have a lot of information online at all. But that would be a fun way to spend a day. Like maybe do a little circle around the little lake and then come back. Okay.
Let's not annoy the operators, please. We want them.
They've got to be so bored there, though.
Possibly.
Anyway, it was really cool. So today we went and we were waiting. We had to wait a fair amount of time. We were there for an hour and a half or so before there was activity.
I think so.
But it kept freaking us out because we'd hear noises. So yesterday when we were there, nothing was open. We didn't see any people. There were no noises, whatever. This time the building was making noises, and part of it was the bathroom fan. Yesterday, even though we visited during the stated business hours, the bathrooms were locked. So I would take the availability of bathrooms with a grain of salt. But this time they were like, the bathroom fans were on and there was some kind of whirring up top, and so we're like, ooh, it's going to go. And then when we were a little bit further away from the road and like kind of biding our time, I'd keep hearing noises that sounded like they're starting something up, and I'd get excited each time. And then I realized that it was just the sound of people driving over that section of the road with the railway.
Yeah, there was a lot of like metal clanging kind of thing because of all the guys.
Yeah.
Yep.
So finally, while we're biding our time, Porter, we were looking. Where were we when we saw down? At some point, we saw down. We looked down and we saw a little like a tube, and we were looking for seating was what it was, because like I'd walked a long trail this morning and needed to sit down. So we saw a little bench down below us, and there was this tube, big metal tube is the only way I can put it. Do you know what it actually was?
So I believe it was one of the actual flow channels for the power generation unit there. Yeah.
So he went to investigate while I sat down, and he came up half an hour later.
Yeah.
And he was glowing. I mean, glowing. This is like, I don't know how many of you watching are autistics, but there is autistic joy, and there's nothing in the holistic world that beats autistic joy. And he was radiating autistic joy. I'm like, oh, he found something.
Yeah. So let's back up. When we walked down the stairway, I noticed by the power generation plant, there was these little blue things you could see, and I could tell that was the old motors, not operational now, but I was like, oh, those are so cool. I wish I could see them better. And I took a couple photos from afar. Well, it turns out
It's an attraction.
it is an attraction. You walk down and you can actually go up to these old, I believe it was 1920 when these were put into operation, and they were running until 1992.
Now, he has the memory of an old person, so don't hold him to actual dates here.
Hey.
No, let's be real. I don't think you're going to be off by much, but I'm just saying, I don't want any, like, well, actually, in the comments, because I hate that. Anyway.
We'll do the pop-up bubble.
Oh my God, yeah. We'll just correct you.
So,
you gotta do that.
Yeah.
She's like...
Anyway. So you get down there and nobody's down there.
Well, there's a reason nobody's down there.
Well, there is.
Well, you talk, and then we'll talk about the issue.
Yeah, okay. So once I got down there, it was just amazing. There's a bunch of signage that talks about the history of it and how it operates.
Like informational signage, like museum type display. Like this was not that we're reading like somewhere we weren't supposed to be. This was clearly a display. Right,
and this is outdoors. You could tell. You could see from the cement that this used to be a covered building, and they literally cut it apart, took the roof and sides off to make this an outdoor display, which is amazing.
It was amazing. He is the engineer. He is the mechanical nerd, and he is I guess more into that stuff. Like we've got diverging interests when it comes to our particular flavors of nerdiness. But this was cool even for me.
Yeah, awesome.
So, yeah,
you can see the actual power generator. You can see the turbines. They actually have some exposed. There were two setups.
Into one.
Yeah, you can walk into one of the tubes from that used to be the actual water flow. Into there. So it is an amazing little autistic playground, and definitely go check that out. I don't know why there's not like.
Yeah, and here's the thing.
Oh yeah.
Is you would have no idea it's down there. Like, first of all, the feds have crappy websites. And I know that, like, I've ran into this with the national parks, is that the sites are not user-friendly. And then when it comes to the attractions on the Trent-Severn Waterway, this is the second one we've been to. We also did the lift.
In Peterborough?
Yeah, the Peterborough one. What was that called? The lift.
We'll put it in the video. It'll be a little pop-up.
Anyway, it was like a lift. Why can't I come up with the word now? Lift lock. Yeah, whatever. Anyways, their sites don't have a lot of information. So the site for this one, the Big Chute Marine Railway, it really only said, there are washrooms available. There's a marina. There's a picnic area. Like, that's it. Right. And I guess technically this is Ontario Power.
Yes.
But it's clearly.
It's on the same site. It's on the same ground.
Yeah. And it's broken up because when you come from there's a parking, and then there's the old Marine Railway, and then there's the power generating plant, and then there's the new railway. And I think it's all the same grounds. Right.
Yes.
And this was clearly an attraction, There's no signage pointing you down there. There's no signage on the website saying it's down there. I don't know if Ontario Power has something maybe, but even if they did, there's no information anywhere saying, oh, the attraction's down here. You would never know. You have to walk. If you're looking at so there's two spillway basically. So if you're going from the parking lot, you're going to pass like the picnic area and the stairs down. And then there's like a waterway. If you cross that and go down beside it, that's how you get to it. But there's absolutely no signage. And it looks almost like you're trespassing. Like, it kind of feels like you're trespassing.
You can obviously tell it's a trail that people have gone on, but almost looks like it's for employees. There's no sidewalk. There's no signage.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
It's
like,
just,
not rough, but, it's not.
Path.
It's definitely not. It doesn't scream tourist attraction. But anyway, so you walk along the water for a bit, and you look down, and you can see like a nice park bench, and you can see signage, like informational touristy attraction signage. So you're like, okay, yes, we are supposed to be down there. And that's basically how you had to do the whole way. Because once you get down there, there's also a very secluded path off to the left, which is how you get down to the main area. Right.
Yep.
And if you walk out there, you're feeling like I feel like I'm trespassing. You know? Like I don't know if I'm paranoid or not, but did you have that feeling like, oh, I'm not supposed to be here?
I thought it was just an employee path to get down to the modern plant, right?
Yeah. But then once you get to kind of the stairway down, you can see more of that touristy information, educational signage down there. And it's like, oh, okay, yeah, we're supposed to be here.
Absolutely.
So anyway, we're not even talking about the railway at this point.
But wait, there's more.
Yeah. So anyways, we eventually pulled him away from there. It was cool. It was really cool, even for me. There are a lot of stairs to get down there, so it's not very accessible.
Yep.
The stairs are nowhere near as steep and narrow as the ones going down to the water, though. So anyways, we came back up. We walked across to the near side of the railway channel track, whatever, and pulled up a chair there and waited. And then you heard.
All of a sudden, I saw the electrical spool starting to take up. And then what that is they've got obviously electrical lines that follow this rail so they can have all the controls work. And I'm seeing the spool turn, and I'm like, hey, wait, why is that? I'm like, oh, it's going.
It's go time. Yeah. And we went from very like chill and kind of talking about what we'd just seen to, oh my God, it's go time. And he bolted. And then I'm walking after him because I can't walk all that fast. And video going, and it is shocking how fast that thing goes.
It is.
You know, from the top to the bottom, I videoed. It was
3 minutes is what you said.
It was 3 minutes on the way up, but from the time they were loading the people, like when I started taping at the top of the thing, when they started loading to the bottom, I think it was like 6 minutes or something.
I got
really
15.
Short.
I got 15 minutes of footage from it leaving the station, picking up, dropping off, coming back to the station.
Yeah, see, I didn't start at the station. I started when they were loading the people. Extremely fast. You know, which is amazing because, like, you think of a traditional lock, they take forever. You know, so I'm kind of surprised this is the only one because you'd think it probably takes less power than a traditional lock too.
I don't know. I honestly don't.
Those gates, though.
Yeah, possibly.
Those gates, yeah. Anyway,
but yeah, it's a lot of fun to see. It, you know, it drops down into the water, like we said, and the boat just drives up. And then they do their anchoring, and they've got these slings that hold it in place.
And it gives them a lot of flexibility for how many boats, because they've got a setup where they can take 1, 2, or 3 boats side by side.
Yep.
There's all kinds of educational signage there that tell you, like, all the stats, and it's really interesting. What was interesting to me, though, was that you can get right next to it. Like, you can almost touch the thing.
Yeah.
You know? And it was a little, like, shocking when they were coming back up. Like, after they'd gone down into the water on the upper side, loaded up the boat, and started coming back. They were coming back, and they were almost at the road, and they hadn't dropped the barriers.
Right.
And there was a truck going to pass them, and I guess the truck saw at the last minute that this thing was going. But, man, I wouldn't want to... I wouldn't want to come up against that thing.
I don't know if the operator was being nice and trying to let the last truck through because he, you know, obviously knows what he's doing as far as how fast it was. But
close.
I was surprised at that too, though. Generally, they err to the side of.
And there's not a lot of barricading for people. Like, I thought I was on the outside of the barrier when it came down, and I was not. And it's like the thing's coming up. I think I'm a safe distance away, and I look behind me. And there's the barrier. I'm like, oh crap, I gotta get out. Anyway, so
yeah, I followed it all the way down. There's a set of stairs, and
on the far side of it from the parking lot.
On the far side of it, and managed not to trip. So the footage is probably just a little shaky because I was watching my feet and trying not to hurt myself.
And he was probably fanboying pretty hard.
I was. I mean, the mechanics of that thing are really cool. The entire load is concentrated into a single point with 4 beams to transfer that load. That is crazy.
That's wild.
I love it.
It was just a small boat that went up, but
well, I know, but I mean, knowing what that's capable of.
No, I know. And the interesting thing to me was it's going down this extremely steep incline, and the whole thing kept level the entire way.
Right. It's a good point. There's 2 sets of rails, and they're offset such that it keeps it level, like you just said. So
It's very, very cool to watch. So anyways, like aside from that, because I'm sure he could talk for days, honestly.
And I will.
Honestly. Yes, he will. He will, trust me. So the other thing of note was there was the spillway on the other side. And
Yes.
when we visited yesterday, there were all these signs like, oh, it looks pretty, but it's dangerous. And it was it was there were quite a
Quite
few
often.
signs like that, right?
And
I'm like,
fenced off.
and I'm like, it looks okay.
I thought it was,
There was some
I thought it was
rocks.
beautiful. It was lovely natural rock formations, all, you know.
But you couldn't really see anything.
You couldn't see a
know.
ton, but it looked like something that would be really fun to explore.
It didn't really look like something that, to me, made it seem like the signs were justified. You know what I mean? So then we came back today and we heard waterfalls, and it was really pretty today. So when you're in the area, like while you're biding your time waiting for this thing, because it doesn't go very often, right? There are waterfalls sometimes if the spillway's open.
Exactly. So it was really fun to watch from the bridge, and I definitely enjoyed that. Certainly reminded me of Chutes Provincial Park, which is one of my top 5 provincial parks.
But it doesn't have trains.
But it doesn't have trains, and this one, Chutes, you can actually walk out onto them, and this one you can only see from afar. So enjoyable, but considering that's kind of the 4th attraction for this site, you've got the historic rail, you've got the modern rail, you've got the power generation plant,
and just the scenics, like the going down the stairs to this beautiful view.
Right, and there's large docks in the area. You can walk out really far into the water, and I was trying to look for some birds. Didn't see too much other than some common goose and seagull.
I mean, let's be real. Your lack of seeing birds today was completely made up for with the owl coming meters away from us and sitting and looking at us.
Owl was awesome. Although I did see a great blue heron fly right in front of me when I was videotaping near the beginning of the movement of the rail.
Just a great blue heron, though.
Oh, great blue herons are still pretty cool.
Okay, but
it says great in the name
right behind your head.
No, but
it was an owl.
I will take it.
Owl, and now that we've seen an owl, we're gonna see all kinds of owls.
Bring them on.
Yeah. Anyway, so
Big Chute Marine Railway.
Yeah, we got to go over the basics though, because we didn't. So okay, and the parking is definitely a decent size. Like today, there were a ton of people.
Yep.
And there was still room, no problem. Washrooms, so they have washrooms that are supposed to be open during visitor hours, and that's like, I want to say it's like 10 to 3:30 or something on weekdays, and like it varies by season and it varies by weekend and weekdays. We went well during the business hours on Friday, and that bathroom was not open. Like neither of them were. So I'm not sure what was going on there. Today when we went there, the doors were actually wide open. So it wasn't even that they were not locked, it's they were wide open. They call the building a visitor center. There was no information on their website about the visitor center, and the windows were papered over. So I don't know if there was actually like an attraction there at some point, but it's not functional right now.
You can see through their windows. You can actually see the actual
through
steel.
Other windows. I'm saying.
Yeah, I know.
No, the papered ones you can't see through.
Right, around the other side, you can actually see the motors and the cable reels, which is really cool for people like me.
And down at your thing, we didn't mention that you can see in windows there, and that little scary.
Yeah, at the power generation, you can see in the windows. There was a lot of glare when I was there, so you couldn't see much, to be honest. But
it's still interesting.
It is still interesting.
Okay, so visitor center, washrooms. I did not go into the washrooms because I didn't
either.
To. And honestly, it was still fresh in my head what was being said at Hardy Lake. So I wasn't super interested in experiencing the public washroom experience, I guess. So washrooms, parking, accessibility, getting from the parking lot to the attraction, I would say is wheelchair accessible. It's the only thing is you have to go on the side of the road for part of it.
Isn't there another path though that we saw?
There is a path, and that might be wheelchair accessible, but I didn't go down that one. So there's a path that goes directly from the far end of the parking lot into what I was calling the day use area. It's like a picnic lawn. It's got a pretty significant hill there, so I'm not sure how the trail goes, but that could be wheelchair accessible. But honestly, it's a very short part of the road. The traffic wasn't super constant, so I guess that would be do it at your own risk. But or get dropped off, really. I mean, if you get dropped off at the visitor center area, the whole area there is
good point.
Like the stairs aren't like you can't go down to the water, but you can get a good view at both sides of the road.
Yep. Oh,
and then there's a platform on the lake side, the upper lake side.
Yeah.
That had a fantastic view. I could look directly into that thing while it was getting loaded.
Nice, nice.
So that was cool.
There is a viewing platform which is not accessible, but because it is upstairs.
Oh yes, on top of the visitor center.
Yep.
That's right. So that is 4 sets of stairs that are approximately 10 steps each. I counted yesterday.
Yeah,
they weren't all the same amount though. Like the bottom one was like 12 steps and one was 10.
I don't like
averaged
that.
out to be about 10 steps per. For those who need to know.
Yep.
Saw some dogs around there, so pets are allowed. I would say you probably have to have them leashed and pick up after them, but there wasn't anything banning them. What else do we need to talk about? Birds. We did see a lot of birds.
There were a lot.
Chipping sparrows, cardinal,
starlings.
Starlings.
A lot of starlings.
A lot of starlings. The blue jay. Your great blue heron.
Right.
Which was not an owl.
Not an owl. No.
And yeah, obviously there's boating in the area, but that's not really part of it. I mean, it is part of it, but there's a private marina and there's all kinds of lakes and cabins and everything there, so that's your own thing, really. The visitors, yeah, we covered visitor center, so I think that's
about it.
That's about it. It's getting very dark. Hi.
So
Someone
anyway,
should have built a bigger fire.
I guess I should have.
Yeah.
Check out the blog for more photos. All the
Lots of photos. We're going to put so many photos.
Yep. All the detail information is there as well. That covers everything we have here and more, probably. I would assume more.
No, probably not, because we get to ranting here.
We get pretty
I
comprehensive.
get very straight. I write like an autistic. I feel like I'm like, the bathroom is here, and the bathroom was clean, and this trail is accessible, and that is ... And here we kind of natter on.
Yep. We're doing that right now. We're
talking about trains. Yeah. So anyway.
All right. Go see it. It's really cool. I'm glad we got to see it, and I want to go back.
Yeah, I'm glad we got to see the train going up today, because we were looking at... We're invested at this point because it looked so cool yesterday, and again we went today, and then we saw all that other stuff today. So we were very invested in seeing this thing at that point. So if we hadn't seen it, and it was the last minute,
it was
right
so before closing
today. Yeah, because when they were unloading the guys, you could hear the guys on the loudspeaker talking about like, "Okay, hurry up, we gotta go," and whatever. And
okay, and
then they bolted to their cars after, so that was very, very last minute. So. I'm glad we stuck it out, because otherwise we'd be going again tomorrow.
Which we might do anyway.
Oh my God, I gotta get some work done. I gotta do some cooking. It's Thanksgiving weekend.
All right, Thanksgiving weekend.
Yes.
Cool.
Let's call it.
Let's call it.
Like and subscribe.
Yes.